Gone Home is a mystery. Is it an adventure game? Is it a period piece? Some derisively call it a narrative non-game like Dear Esther or Proteus. And it's true that these kinds of experiences are notably lacking in what we traditionally think of as gameplay. It isn't about intergalactic space zealots or a quasi-biblical Illuminati threat. You won't save the world or shoot a terrorist. The only choice you can make in Gone Home is the extent to which you explore the Greenbrier house. English professors urge you at every turn to remain active in your writing, that it's best for your protagonist to do rather than be done upon. But in Gone Home, Caitlin Greenbrier, your avatar, exists as an absent party to the events of the game. You come home from a year abroad in Europe to find a note on the front door written by your sister, apologizing that she can't be there to meet you, begging you not to dig around to find out where she is. With your sister gone and your parents on a couple's retreat, the house stands empty. In mechanical terms, that's it. You walk around the house and look at things. By all accounts, this is the same mechanic which made Dear Esther a boring experience. So why does it work? Contrary to your professor's wisdom, the game's passivity might be one of its greatest strengths. In notes, pictures, and books, you witness the growing distance between your parents, the potential infidelity of your mother, the writer's block of your father, and the bad habits of your younger sister, and you are powerless to stop any of it. By taking away your agency, the Fulbright Company allows its snapshot of the world to unfold around you. It doesn't do this through long walls of text like in a Bethesda game. Rather, it's the little things, like a letter from Lonnie about a Mexican painted skull or the crumpled up first drafts that show you what your father thinks of his own creations. These things make the Greenbrier household feel like a real place. It's the scattered notes and greasy pizza boxes, the hand-drawn mixtapes and zines, the Magic Eye posters, the VHS tapes of X-Files reruns. Just enough to suggest the people you never see without coming off too strong. Gone Home had moments that I as a gamer will never forget. Like discovering an abandoned pillow fort, housing a can of soda and a book about ghosts, while the TV blares a weather alert siren. It feels like a picture from my childhood, so much that I can smell the dusty carpet and feel the blanket around my shoulders. Later, upon wandering into a bathroom to find an apparently blood-stained bathtub, I flew into a panic as I imagined Sam isolating herself in a moment of weakness and hurting herself. But investigation reveals the red is just hair dye. That reaction I had revealed far more about me than it did Sam, and Gone Home is lousy with these kinds of things.
Lonnie came over today, but everything was different. She was sitting at my desk chair, and she wouldn't look at me. Finally, I asked her what was going on. She said she felt like she'd done something wrong that night in the city. Like I must think... But I said no, there was nothing wrong. I just wanted to say... But I couldn't find the words. It felt like I was gonna cry, but I wasn't sad. She got up and sat next to me on the bed. I looked at her. Lonnie, do you think you could ever... And that's when she kissed me.
It's Sarah Grayson who is solely responsible for delivering Gone Home's heart on a silver platter. She does something with Sam that is hard to fathom, playing her not just as a human being, but a human being you know. Anyone else in the entire game would have fallen flat. A touch more melodrama, an older twang, a cynical edge, but no. Within moments of hearing Sam speak, you know her as well as you would your own sister. You can't help but smile when she describes her first kiss with Lonnie. You worry when it seems like things might be going wrong between them because you've been there. You know what it's like to fall so hard that your world revolves around someone, and you're terrified that she might get hurt the way you did. You want to give her a hug, hold her in your arms, and tell her it'll be okay, but you can't. these things have already happened. Her reaction, good or bad, is out of your control. And that's how it is in real life. All the good advice in the world won't stop someone from doing what they want. The best you can do is play audience and hope that's enough. Sarah Grayson talks about her experience as a voice actor in the commentary, and in reference to a particular diary entry, she says this.
I just become so connected with her and making those parallels all the way along. And then you get to this point where it's like, I know exactly how you feel. Like, I know exactly what you're going through. I mean, it was completely authentic. I mean, I've enjoyed people commenting on the connection they've had to the emotion that's in the character. And this is always the diary I think of, because it's the one that it most got me.
In contrast to the AAA titles that stumble with women at every turn, Gone Home is a seemingly effortless story of a young girl coming out of the closet. One that, if nothing else, succeeds in making you feel empathy towards a situation you may never encounter firsthand. How did they pull it off? Of the 4 people initially credited, 2 of them are women. The only voiced characters are women. The music on the mixtapes you find aren't just played by women, they're tracks taken straight from the Riot Grrrl movement of the 90s. In the commentary, one of the head writers admits that he has no frame of reference for being a young girl in high school. So what was his solution?
I couldn't have gone into writing this character with just saying, well, I'll just assume that I'll do an okay job and write it however it seems like I should, and instead saying you have to take this seriously and you have to actually reach out to people who have lived it so that when you're writing this character, it represents the experience of people like her in a way that is plausible and respectful and
authentic.
Yeah, that represents them in a way that doesn't cheapen the experience that they've had by relying on cliches or just kind of your expectations as an outsider.
As we go forward in this medium, driven as it is by the observed trends witnessed in the exchange of dollar signs, this question of social justice is not one that we can address passively. It is not a concern for the philosophers and academics. Women compose 49% of the human population, and on a global scale, heterosexual Caucasian males are a minority. When you level the playing field and give everyone a voice, we as a species are better for it. When presented with new, challenging stories, we are forced to accept that humanity is not a question with an answer. Our stories cannot thrive if we cut them off at the neck. And Gone Home is a testament not just to the power of games, but to what can happen when you let all parties speak equally. If a non-gamer asks me for a title to start them playing games, to convince them that games can be art, it won't be BioShock Infinite, and it won't be Journey. It will be Gone Home. Because this is the vision of what games should be. Not in tone, story, or composition, but in execution. Gone Home asks only that you remember a time when you were young and idealistic, when you could fall in love at a touch. It asks you to see yourself in the postcards and pictures. It asks you to number the differences between yourself and another person, and leaves the answering to you.